passes from Caitlin? No. She decided not to do that. In fact, she praised Aaliyah Boston. But she passed on the opportunity to say anything positive about Caitlin Clark. She could have squashed all kinds of things right here. It's a perfect opportunity. Did she do it? No. And you will never convince me.
Watch that clip again. Angel Reese just spent 30 seconds praising her USA basketball teammates by name. Chelsea, Gay's ball handling. Leah Boston's post. Moves. Specific players, specific. Skills, genuine appreciation. But there's one name conspicuously absent from that list. And when you consider who else was on that roster, the omission becomes impossible to ignore.
13 games. In those 13 games, there were literally like what? 3 or 4 kind of incidents and 2 major incidents, including the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark kerfluffle. Well, I hadn't used that word in a while. In which, of course, the major story coming out of that was Indiana Fever fans called Angel Reese racist something, which launched a massive investigation. Should be noted, Indiana Fever did not defend its fans there.
Here's the context you need to understand. Last season during a game between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever on June 16th, 2024, an incident occurred that launched a massive investigation. Angel Reese and her team alleged that Fever fans directed racist chants at her during the game. The league took it seriously. Indiana conducted a full investigation, reviewing audio, video, interviewing witnesses. The result? Zero evidence. None. What they actually found was a sound effect played over the arena speakers. A common YouTube audio clip used in arenas across the league. Not racist fans, not targeted harassment, just a standard sound effect that someone misinterpreted. But here's where it gets interesting. The day after that game, Angel Reese had a chance to clear the air.
That whole situation, I believe it was the next day or the day after, Angel Reese was interviewed after practice. She had an opportunity to squash the narrative right there. I never heard anything that I would construe as being racist from those Indiana Fever fans, blah, blah, blah. She did not do that. She played along with it. Let's be real. She went along with that narrative. In fact, she was like, yeah, I feel good about the fact that they're doing an investigation. All the while knowing nothing happened.
That interview happened approximately 48 hours after the alleged incident. By that point, the investigation was already underway, and Angel Reese had a decision to make. She could have said what actually happened, that she never personally heard anything racist, that maybe there was a misunderstanding, that Fever fans weren't the problem. Instead, she leaned into the narrative. She expressed satisfaction that an investigation was happening. She validated the accusations without evidence. And when the investigation concluded with zero findings, there was no follow-up, no clarification, no acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, those fans deserve better than being labeled racist. Without the Indiana Fever organization didn't offend their fans either, which created its own controversy. But Angel Reese had the platform and the opportunity to set the record straight. She chose not to.
Another opportunity. Of course, a lot of us believes Angel Reese doesn't care for Caitlin Clark too much. We've heard a lot of things. I did a video. We found out a while back that Angel Reese really didn't care for Caitlin Clark because anytime anybody brought up, the success of the league, Caitlin was always brought up, even if Angel was brought up. And that grinded her gears. Cry us a river. So, Angel Reese has come out and spoke about her time playing for US.
Now, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. Multiple sources close to the Chicago Sky have suggested that Angel Reese harbors genuine resentment toward Caitlin Clark, not professional. Rivalry, not competitive fire, actual personal resentment. And the reason is straightforward. Whenever Angel accomplishes something noteworthy, whenever she puts up impressive numbers, or makes headlines, the conversation inevitably circles back to Caitlin Clark. Comparisons are made. Caitlin's name gets mentioned, and according to people familiar with Angel's perspective, that drives her absolutely crazy. Which brings us back to that USA basketball interview. This wasn't some casual hallway conversation caught on camera. This was an official USA basketball video release. Angel knew it would be published. She knew people would watch it, and she made a very deliberate choice about which teammates to praise by name.
So there were a couple of times they were absolutely on the court together. She had an opportunity to squash narratives out there, to try to do the bygones be bygones, let's all move forward, blah, blah, blah. And she didn't even have to say all that. She could have just said, oh man, being able to play with Caitlin, Paige, Chelsea. If you want to bring up Chelsea, that's fine. There's one point guard in the league, and it's not her.
Among others, in that official interview, she chose to name Chelsea Gray and Leah Boston specifically. She talked about Chelsea's ball handling, about having to stay ready for behind the back passes. She praised Leah's post, moves, and footwork. Those are genuine compliments, and there's nothing wrong with giving credit where it's due. But Caitlin Clark is widely considered the best point guard in women's basketball. Right now, her court vision and passing ability are her signature skills. Angel Reese is a forward who thrives on rebounds and put back. Playing with an elite passer like Caitlin should have been a dream scenario for her game. Yet, when given the opportunity to acknowledge that even in passing, she went silent.
I mean, are we doing this again? Is that what we're doing? We're going to go through this yet again? I mean, I had to make a video yesterday because we got Sue Bird and Katie Nolan drudging up crap that was an issue in June of 2024. And here we are, about to be 2026. We're still doing this crap. We're still doing the hate thing. And I'm not hating on Angel Reese. I'm just saying she fumbled a huge opportunity here to squash a bunch of drama, a bunch of narratives, all this kind of thing. And she didn't do it. Just like she didn't seize the opportunity to jump out there and say, I never heard Indiana Fever fans making any kind of noises, and I don't believe they're racist. She passed on that opportunity too.
Think about the timing here. We're approaching 2026. The Caitlin Clark effect on the WNBA is undeniable at this point. In her 13 games during the 2024 season, television ratings spiked. Whenever she played, attendance records were broken. The league experienced unprecedented growth in visibility and revenue. And yes, there were controversies, multiple incidents involving physical play, questionable officiating, and media narratives that created division among fans. But here's what makes Angel's silence so significant. This was a chance to move past all of that. A simple acknowledgement, a brief comment about enjoying playing with talented teammates, including Caitlin. That's all it would have taken to shift the narrative to signal that whatever happened during the regular season stays on the court, and when they're representing USA basketball together is about the team. She didn't take it, and you cannot convince anyone paying attention that this wasn't intentional.
I've said this is 2026 is going to be the same things we've been seeing in 2024, in 13 games of 2025. I mean, so let's see. She would have played in another, let's just say roughly 35 games. What would we have seen? Another 5 or 6 or 7 fiascos go down? Because that was what we would have averaged enough where there would have been like 10 issues, 10 incidents if she'd have played all season. I'm talking about Caitlin. Unbelievable. And you know they really gonna get mad when she comes back and she's hitting threes in faces again.
Here's what this reveals about where we're headed in 2026 and beyond. The WNBA just experienced its most visible season in league history, driven largely by one player's impact on ratings and attendance. Caitlin Clark played 13 games in 2024 before her season ended with a wrist injury in September. During those 13 games, there were approximately 4 separate controversies involving physical play, media coverage, or fan behavior. If you extrapolate that over a full 40-game season, we're looking at potentially 10 to 12 separate incidents creating headlines for all the wrong reasons. The league has a choice to make. Either the players and media figures who shape the narrative decide to move past the drama and focus on basketball, or we're going to see the same pattern repeat itself endlessly. Every hard foul becomes a referendum on race and rivalry. Every media interview becomes an opportunity to relitigate past grievances. Every USA basketball appearance becomes a chance to send subtle messages through strategic silence. Angel Reese just showed us which direction she's choosing. And when Caitlin Clark returns to the court next season, fully healthy and dropping 30-foot threes in opponents' faces, again, the same people who created drama in 2024 are going to be right back at it because nothing has changed. No one has moved on. The resentment is still there, barely beneath the surface. This USA basketball interview wasn't just a missed opportunity for Angel Reese. Personally, it's a preview of what's coming. The league's biggest star is going to return to an environment where certain players and media figures have already decided they're not going to give her credit, not going to acknowledge her impact, and not going to let go of whatever personal feelings they've developed. And that's going to create the same toxic cycle of controversies that defined those 13 games in 20. The question isn't whether Angel Reese should have mentioned Caitlin Clark in that interview. The question is whether anyone in the WNBA's ecosystem has a maturity and professionalism to put the league's growth ahead of personal grudges, because right now the evidence suggests they don't. Sue Bird and Katie Nolan are still discussing controversies from June 20th. Angel Reese is still finding ways to avoid acknowledging Caitlin's existence even when they're literally teammates on USA basketball, and the fans are still divided into camps that spend more time arguing about narratives than celebrating the actual basketball being played. This is what the 2026 WNBA season is going to look like. More drama, more controversies, more missed opportunities to build something bigger than individual egos. Angel Reese just gave us a preview, and it's not encouraging. So here's the real question. When Caitlin Clark comes back and starts dominating again, when the ratings spike and the arenas sell out and the national media attention returns, are we going to see the same players and commentators create the same drama? Or is anyone going to step up and say enough is enough? Let's focus on basketball and growing this league together based on what we just watched. Don't hold your breath. The pattern is set. The sides are chosen. And Angel Reese just confirmed exactly where she stands. Let me know in the comments. Do you think this was intentional, or am I reading too much into a 30-con interview clip? Because from where I'm sitting, the message was crystal